what I wanted to say something about, the pastor just said a couple of things that really blow me away. First thing, one thing that blows me away about this pastor is that he could say the same, he could preach the same sermon and preach it different every time. The same passage, he could preach it different every time. He's a real prophet. But he is an advocate of traditional marriage, non-same sex marriage. That's just completely out. You know, it is just malarkey as far as he is concerned. And, you know, like with this thing with Obama, like you're not really, you know, you could be sitting there and your pastor could say anything he wants to say. That doesn't mean that you have to follow everything he says. You know, I mean, it doesn't reflect on you the way. So they're trying to say this about Obama, but my pastor can say anything he wants. And how I feel about it is my personal business. You know, plain and simple. Case in point, I'll wear leather pants. I'll wear leather pants to church. You know, how can I do this then? You know, and they hate it. They look at me and give me but that's me. He says, wear your best to church. And because you're supposed to dress up to see God. You know, you ain't supposed to just come on straggling on God any old way you want. But, you know, that's my personal business. I mean, he also says, you know, dress up in your best. He said, my best he says, your best might not be my best. You know, his best might be $1,000 suit, or actually it's not. But he's a very humble G. He got a nice church, but he's a very humble guy. And, but, you know, I'm having New York influence. New leather pants, they the best pair of pants I got. They cost more than some suits I got. You know what I'm saying? But some other people feel you only need to wear suits. So whatever a pastor says, you know, show you some more kicks. Y'all want to see my kicks? But anyway, whatever the pastor says, it's gay people sitting in the congregation, you know, even though he says, you know, yo, that's not the deal, you know. But here's my point. He also said this, you know, he's kind of big in the church, and he has some notoriety. But he also said, he at one point talked to Spencer. And Spencer was an advocate of gay marriage and a lot of things that has not to do with marriage and the breakdown of marriage. He's in favor of that. He's in favor of prostitution. And he just thought he was probably the biggest deal going when he come and just all behind this stuff. And now he's struggling probably to keep his marriage, but he definitely lost his job. And, you know, there is a black man, I believe. I didn't know. I just heard about it today. There's a black man, he's a blind guy, and he is, you know, it's like, you know, though he is blind, it has nothing to do with his capability of, you know, performing the job. I hear he has an extraordinary memory. I just don't really know too much about it. But what I'm saying is that if Spencer had really showed more respect for marriage and that whole situation, it might have been a different deal for him right about now. So, you know, what goes around comes around is what it's saying. And nobody likes to talk about, you know, the wrath of God or the good things, you know. And it's not like God is going around doing stuff, you know, to people. He don't really, you know, God gives us protection. If he says, look, you know, if we say we don't want his protection, then how is that his fault? He gives us protection. He does things that for us on a regular that we do not understand that is a credit. All you got to do is just pull back a little bit, you know, pull back on some of his protection. And case in point, I heard, and this again for going to church, you know, I heard that there was a tornado that went straight through Atlanta and that nobody got hurt. You know, there's a thing as divine, you know, it destroyed buildings, but nobody got hurt. And, you know, quite honestly, I say, you know, with situations like that, if you can't see God in that, you know, if you can't see how you could be tossed up in through a tornado and not get hurt, you know, I would basically, it says in the Bible, and I tend to agree with, if you don't believe in God, you are just a fool. You know, plain and simple. You're just a fool. You're too smart for your own britches. And I'm not a stupid guy, you know. And I'm just saying, if you see people getting blessed, this country is in a point where we owe our butts to like communist China, you know. And I really think like socialism and stuff like that is a bad thing for us. I think that if we want to be careful, we need to get with some people who are being blessed, you know, who are upholding the truth and who still have the divine protection of God and who are doing good things. And you see them being blessed. You need to get with those people. You know, if you see somebody getting blessed, you need to stand with them, beside them, behind them, whatever. You know, hold that, whatever. Get on their team. You know, that's my message. That's all I'm saying.